Our top focus this hour, the WFI, the Wrestling Federation of India, has a new president who's known to be a close aide of Brij Bhushan. That's what the wrestlers are saying. Some of them who were protesting on the road. Sakshi Malik, the champion, has made a statement and she has said, "We slept on the road for 40 days and a lot of people from several parts of the country came to support us. If Brij Bhushan Singh's business partner and a close aide is elected as the president of WFI, I quit wrestling." Listen in to what Sakshi Malik had to say.
हम तो 40 दिन सोए रोड पे, लेकिन मैं सभी तमाम देशवासी जो भी हमारे प्रोटेस्ट में आए, दूर दूर से आए, बूढ़ी महिलाएं आई, बहुत सारे लोग ऐसे आए जिनके पास खाने कमाने के लिए नहीं है, फिर भी हमें सपोर्ट करने आए। हम नहीं जीत पाए, पर आप लोगों का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और एक बात और कहना चाहूँगी कि लड़ाई लड़ी, पूरे दिल से लड़ी, लेकिन अगर प्रेसिडेंट ब्रिज भूषण जैसे आदमी जैसा ही रहता है, उसका बिल्कुल सही होगी है, उसका बिजनेस पार्टनर है, वो अगर इस फेडरेशन में रहेगा तो मैं अपनी कुश्ती को त्यागती हूँ और मैं आज के बाद कभी भी आपको वहां नहीं दिखूंगा। तो बस सभी देशवासियों को धन्यवाद जिन्होंने आज तक इतना मेरा सपोर्ट किया और मुझे इस मुकाम तक पहुंचाया। अंत में
All right, that's the word coming in from Sakshi Malik. The fact that a close aide of Brij Bhushan has been chosen as the president of the WFI is something that the wrestlers, especially the one who protested, are not taking very kindly to. On the expected lines, Anshul with us on the broadcast. Anshul, first a brief about the new leadership of the Wrestling Federation of India.
So yes, the entire panel that has been elected is the panel that is being said to be very, very close to Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh. Whereas on the other hand, if you see the promise that was made by the government to the wrestlers during their protest, or to call out their protest, was that a woman would be elected as the president. That has not been fulfilled. In fact, no woman is in that entire panel that has been elected this afternoon. On the other hand, the wrestlers have also put out this allegation that even after so many promises that were made to them, none of them have been fulfilled, and now finally a very close aide of Brij Sharan Singh has been made the president of the Wrestling Federation of India, which would eventually mean that nothing is going to change, and the fight that they were fighting to make sure that incidents like these do not happen in the field of wrestling, that fight has been lost by them. Also, the Bajrang Punia specifically put out many serious allegations against Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, yet again claiming to the fact that anything could happen to all the wrestlers who were protesting, who were standing against Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, because that person has the might. He went to the extent of saying that there could be a car accident that could also happen. So yes, definitely the wrestlers are really very disheartened. On the other hand, the panel that has won, they are saying that this is the victory of wrestling. Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh also came on record and has given a statement that this is not only his victory, but also the victory of the entire wrestling fraternity, and the kids who are hoping to become national and international wrestlers. Their future now seems bright. But yes, definitely this has not gone down well with the protesting wrestlers. Initially, they say that the promises that were made were not fulfilled, because one of the promises was that no one associated or close to Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh should be elected as the president, or should be a part of this election. That has not happened, is what the wrestlers claim. A woman president of the Wrestling Federation of India, that has yet again not happened, and that is the reason why we saw both Vinesh Fogart and Sakshi Malik break down right during the press conference when they were addressing the media, giving their first reactions to the Wrestling Federation of India elections. They actually broke down and said that something like this that could happen with wrestling, and hence they have decided to in fact go ahead and quit wrestling forever. This was specifically
once
said
again
by
we'll play out the reaction of Sakshi Malik and what she said to the media. Then I'll try and get more reactions on the story.
अंत में हम तो 40 दिन सोए रोड पे, लेकिन मैं सभी तमाम देशवासी जो भी हमारे प्रोटेस्ट में आए, दूर दूर से आए, बूढ़ी महिलाएं आई, बहुत सारे लोग ऐसे आए जिनके पास खाने कमाने के लिए नहीं है, फिर भी हमें सपोर्ट करने आए। हम नहीं जीत पाए, पर आप लोगों का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और एक बात और कहना चाहूँगी कि लड़ाई लड़ी, पूरे दिल से लड़ी, लेकिन अगर प्रेसिडेंट ब्रिज भूषण जैसे आदमी जैसा ही रहता है, उसका बिल्कुल सही होगी है, उसका बिजनेस पार्टनर है, वो अगर इस फेडरेशन में रहेगा तो मैं अपनी कुश्ती को त्यागती हूँ और मैं आज के बाद कभी भी आपको वहां नहीं दिखूंगा। तो बस सभी देशवासियों को धन्यवाद जिन्होंने आज तक इतना मेरा सपोर्ट किया और मुझे इस मुकाम तक पहुंचाया। धन्यवाद।
Well, the allegation of the protesting wrestlers is, including Sakshi Malik, that Sanjay Singh, who is a close aide of Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, against whom serious charges of sexual harassment were made by these wrestlers, is something which is very disappointing for them. Sakshi Malik goes on to say that she will quit wrestling because the leadership has been elected, which only represents these people against whom these top wrestlers have been fighting. Let me check if Anshul is with us on the broadcast. Anshul, a brief background of Sanjay Singh, the new president of WFI.
So yes, Sanjay Singh is said to be one of the closest aide of Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh. In fact, he has been associated with the Wrestling Federation of India for the last 15 years. He was the vice president when Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh was actually the president of Wrestling Federation of India. So yes, he has been a very close aide to him. In fact, it is being said that he is related to him as well, and that was one of the conditions that the wrestlers had initially put forth when that crucial meeting with the union sports minister had happened, that no one, anyone associated to Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh should be allowed to contest the election. But yes, that promise has not been fulfilled, and that was the reason why initially when these elections were supposed to happen in the month of June and July, even after the elections had happened, the Punjab and Haryana High Court had in fact put a stay on these elections, which eventually meant that the international wrestling organizations had cancelled the membership of Wrestling Federation of India, which eventually meant that the future of all the wrestlers across the country was in a limbo. And now, after almost 6 months, finally the elections has happened after the intervention of the Supreme Court. A person who is said to be a close aide of Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh and was also a member of his panel when he was the president of Wrestling Federation of India, has now been elected as the new president of WFI. And this is what the wrestlers have to say, that since he is so closely associated to him, there is absolutely nothing that is going to change in the wrestling, especially for the women, which they claim that is now very, very, very unsafe. Not only this, but also Bajrang Punia in that press conference also very clearly narrated that how they are not fighting against the government. Their fight was just against one person, and that one person was so powerful that he was able to set narratives to this entire protest. And even after all the entire might that they had put in this fight, they have lost this fight. Even Bajrang Punia, who is a gold medalist, Commonwealth gold medalist, in fact, goes on to say that he does not know what will happen to his career, and now he fears that this new panel that has been selected would not allow him to wrestle anymore. Right. So yes, a lot of serious allegations have been put forth. It remains to be seen.
Anshu, getting us all the details on that very important story. You heard that statement from Sakshi Malik as she broke down while interacting with media. Let's move on. Let's cut across to some more breaking news coming in, and this one is an update coming in. The customary meet after the session was adjourned. That has been held. We had a message coming in from the Prime Minister, who has said in the presence of several leaders like Mr. Rajnath Singh, Pralhad Joshi and others that the Parliament security breach issue is a very, very serious one, and any suggestions on this matter should be taken with utmost seriousness. That's what exactly is being said by the Prime Minister. Even earlier, there was a message that was communicated by the chair, by the Speaker, Mr. Om Birla, and he argued that a high-level committee has been set up to review this entire situation. Payal with us on the broadcast. Payal, give us more details, please.
So, after the session gets adjourned, there is of course a meeting which happens where, leaders sit and have a cup of tea. But most of the opposition parties whose leaders have been suspended, they boycotted this particular meeting. But there were several opposition parties who are friendly opposition parties like BJD and BSP amongst the others. So when they were sitting over, the Prime Minister did speak about the seriousness of the issue, and the Prime Minister is said to have told all the leaders present that it's a very, very serious matter. It concerns everybody, and all steps should be taken, all suggestions need to be taken, including the fact that whatever is the best practices across the globe should be also followed. But also what we are given to understand is a very important point being made by the Prime Minister. What the Prime Minister said is that, recently when the Karnataka new government was formed and the assembly session was held, there was an occasion in which, one person intruded inside the assembly premises. He went and sat next to an MLA, but nobody was able to trace him for at least half an hour or 45 minutes, and after which he was let off with a warning. So why did the opposition parties not raise an issue like that? That was also a breach of security. So selective raising of issues does not work in this country. Obviously, that would have also been a very, very important issue. And he said that should have also been raised by the opposition parties, but the opposition parties very conveniently did not speak about it. The Karnataka government over there is the Congress government. So that's what the Prime Minister is said to have mentioned in the meeting today, saying that you want to corner a government over security issues, which is good, which is their duty as a parliamentarian, as an MLA. But why did you not raise the issue that happened in the Karnataka Assembly? Why was there no strict action taken? Because that person who intruded into the Karnataka MLA as a Karnataka MLA was let off merely with a warning. So what about that breach of security is what the Prime Minister said to have told his party colleagues and the leaders.
As this message comes from the Prime Minister himself, there was also a word of assurance that Speaker Om Birla had earlier communicated to the House that a high-level security panel or a special committee is already looking into the entire security breach issue.
Yes, that assurance continues to be there. The Lok Sabha Speaker has assured the leaders, not just on the floor of the House, but even in his meetings with the floor leaders, saying that we are looking into the security. It is my personal responsibility to ensure each one of you is secure, each one of you is safe. Parliament security is my responsibility. And some members have also given important suggestions in respect to that. In fact, one of the members in today's meeting also mentioned that in certain countries in the West, you can actually show in your passport and go and watch the proceedings from right inside the house. But is it practically possible in a country like India, which has 130 crore population? That looks very difficult, is what the counter from the government really was. So obviously, strict mechanism is going to be brought into place. The parliament is a temple of democracy. Several hundreds of people want to come here, see the proceedings, see their legislators, come and meet leaders. So can you just penalize everybody just because somebody is intruded? That question is also being raised. So obviously the mechanism will have to be strengthened. Steps have to be taken. Yes, a breach has happened, but nobody's sitting on their heels, waiting and doing nothing. People are taking action.
Okay.
Steps are being taken. Everything is being reviewed, and that inquiry has to be given some time. But selective raising of the issues of concern of security, which the opposition parties, especially the Congress party, has been doing, is something which the Prime Minister has raised in today's meeting.
Thank you, Pal, for putting all of that into perspective. Let's talk about the hangama in Parliament that continues. We had about 146 MPs who are suspended now. 3 more names were added to that list of suspensions. It has been a spree in the Parliament, unprecedented numbers that we have seen. Yes, there have been some record numbers during the tenure of Rajiv Gandhi, Indira Gandhi, but this kind of en masse suspension of the Member of Parliament from Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, indeed, to say the very least, is unprecedented. The opposition leaders also took out a march right from the old Parliament building up to Vijay Chowk. They had placards, they had banners. Save democracy is the narrative that they're trying to take to town. They argue that it's not them, but dissent which has been stifled and suspended from the Parliament. The opposition MPs are not allowed to speak. Listen into some reactions on the story.
यहाँ पर जो घटना घटी लोकसभा में, वही मुद्दे पर लोकसभा और राज्यसभा में हम ये उठाना चाहते थे कि क्या सिक्योरिटी ब्रीच कैसा हुआ, कौन उसके लिए रिस्पॉन्सिबल है और क्यों ऐसा हुआ, इसके बारे में आप सदन को बताइए। अगर आप सदन में नहीं बोलेंगे तो कहाँ बोलेंगे? ये दुर्दैव है कि शाह साहब भी वहाँ पर नहीं आए हाउस में और प्रधानमंत्री नहीं आए। क्या हुआ इसके बारे में उन्होंने नहीं बताया।
Murder of democracy is happening in India. Parliamentarians has been 150 parliamentarians are thrown out of parliament and bills are passed without any discussions and others. This shows the autocratic nature of this government itself, and Mr. Modi and Amit Shah is bulldozing the parliament itself, and we are protesting that, and we are continue to protest, and we will go tomorrow. We will have all the MPs will have a demonstration in Jantar Mantar, and we will continue to take to people the issues related to the parliamentary murder.
Never want to miss, but the issue is that 13, the unprecedented security breach took place inside the parliament.
And the fact that the Mysore
certainly, we were wondering over how to plug the loopholes inside the parliament.
But let me say, if somebody does something of mimicry, mocking, whatever you want to call it, for 1 minute, is it worth spending thousands of hours of your television time discussing it? to my mind, this shows precisely what's wrong with the public discourse in our country. We have a threat to our democracy. The future of Indian democracy is in danger, and you want to talk about a mimicry?
My point taken. I'm talking about this because the Prime Minister called up the chairperson. You had the President of India. Do you think the BJP is trying to change the goalpost?
They want to distract the public debate, my dear. That's what this is all about.
Cutting across to my colleague Arunima and getting more perspective on the story. Arunima, 3 more suspensions that came in today. That takes the number to, I believe, 146. Unprecedented numbers. There was a protest march by the opposition and they want to keep up the momentum even after the winter session gets over.
And this is just as we are, on the cusp of Rajya Sabha also getting sine die. Lok Sabha has already been adjourned sine die a day earlier. So even while the session is being wound up, there are more suspensions that are being notified. Clearly shows that the government does not want to, do away or show any, long rope, give any long rope to the opposition at this stage. This was the last full session of Parliament. After this, there will be the vote on accounts, the budget session, interim budget session, which will be a very, very curtailed session. So these MPs who were to be colleagues for 5 years across the Treasury and opposition benches are saying goodbye, on a very, very discordant note. And the kind of voices that you are hearing, bonhomie and the camaraderie that we have seen, irrespective of the party that you belong to, that is not visible now. There's a sharp divide and there's sharp attack against each other. The opposition accusing the government of being, tyrannical, being dictatorial. The government side, on the other hand, saying that you are frustrated because you've lost the election and that's why you're indulging in negative politics. In all this, legislations are getting passed without any debate, any discussion.
All right. Thank you, Arunima, for putting all of that into perspective. Throughout the day, there were multiple voices that we heard from this on the story. BJP, the opposition leaders. It's an all-out political war of words between the two sides. Listen into the voices coming in.
देखिए, विपक्ष नहीं चाहता कि इस देश के गुलामी के जो अवशेष हैं वो समाप्त किए जाए। अभी देखा आपने, हमारे गृह मंत्री अमित शाह जी ने 3 कानून लेके आए जो भारतीय दंड संहिता को भारतीय न्याय संहिता कर दिया गया। बहुत बड़ी चर्चा है देश में, उसको वो नहीं पास करने देना चाहते। आपकी नीयत है सिर्फ संसद को डिस्टर्ब करना, आपकी नीयत है संसद ना चले। हम समझते हैं अगर आप दूसरे सांसदों के अधिकारों का हनन करेंगे तो ये कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए और हम इस कार्रवाई से बहुत खुश हैं।
We were demanding the statement of the Home Minister with regard to the incident that happened in the Parliament on 13th December. Almost more than a week has gone by. He didn't come to the Parliament, he didn't respond. In the Lok Sabha, when he came, no opposition was there. Today in the Rajya Sabha, when he came to move his bill on the law bill, we were there and we raised that since the Home Minister is very much in the House, why don't he make the statement which he made outside the House? So the convention is that when the Parliament is in sessions, no announcement or no statement should be made outside. Other than leave alone that, but since he has come, let him make the statement, let it be recorded, authorized and authenticated.
क्या कोऑपरेट करना है, उनको आगे वक्तव्य देना है, क्या कोऑपरेट करना है। हम उसकी इंक्वायरी जांच का परिणाम थोड़ी मांग रहे हैं। किस प्रकार के बेहुदे कारण दिए जा रहे हैं कि हम गृह मंत्री हैं, प्रधानमंत्री हैं, ये तो माननीय स्पीकर करेगा। क्या है, किसी देश के संसद में अगर कभी ऐसा आघात हो और कभी सुना है आपने कि प्रधानमंत्री या गृह मंत्री उसका वक्तव्य नहीं देंगे, वो भी संसद के अंदर।
इतिहास की एक ऐसी घटना हुई है जो कभी नहीं हुई थी। 4 लोग आते हैं, 2 बाहर प्रदर्शन करते हैं, 2 अंदर जाते हैं। सदन की गैलरी से, दर्शक दीर्घा से वो पहुंच जाते हैं हाउस के अंदर, वहां स्मोक बम चलाते हैं। तो मान लो वो कोई जहरीली धुआं छोड़ते तो क्या होता। तो सदन की सुरक्षा की अभूतपूर्व शर्मनाक घटना हुई तो क्या गृह मंत्री जवाब भी नहीं देंगे और विपक्ष को आवाज़ भी नहीं उठाने देंगे। तो इन सारी बातों को ध्यान में रखते हुए हमने वहां भरसक प्रयत्न किया, तो वहां से हमें निकाल दिया गया। अब हम जनता के बीच में आए हैं और आपके माध्यम से अपनी बात रख रहे हैं।
We'll continue tracking this story and much more here on CNN News 18 on the other side of a quick break. Stay tuned, stay with us. Let's cut across to some latest news coming in. This is an update coming in from Pakistan where the Islamabad police has clashed with the Baloch protesters. Now, this was a march that was organized by the community against the genocide and the human rights violation that they have been facing in the country of Pakistan. Baloch women were leading the march from the city of Turbat towards Islamabad. They faced arrests, injuries as they protested against the human rights violations that have happened. The disappearances that have been reported is something that has been really spoken about. We'll try and get you more details. First, have a look at this report.
बलोच एकजुती कमेटी की जानिब से बलोच नस्ल खुशी के ख़िलाफ़ लॉन्ग मार्च आज इस्लामाबाद पहुंचा। इस्लामाबाद पहुंचते साथ ही हमें इंतज़ामिया ने रोका और जब हमने उनसे पूछा कि हमें क्यों रोका गया तो उन्होंने कहा कि आपको हम प्रेस क्लब को इस्लामाबाद प्रेस क्लब नहीं जाने देंगे, आपको किसी और जगह में रखेंगे, किसी पार्क में, आप सब लोग वहीं रहें। तब हमने यही कहा कि इस्लामाबाद प्रेस क्लब में कि यहाँ बलूचिस्तान से आए हुए माओं, बेटियों और बुज़ुर्ग लोगों के लिए जगह नहीं है। हम क्योंकि अपना एहतजाज रिकॉर्ड कराना चाहते थे, हम तफरीह के लिए नहीं आए थे, तो हमें ये कहा गया कि नहीं, हम आपको नहीं जाने दे सकते। इसके बाद हमारे जो गाड़ियाँ थी उनकी वैन्स की चाबियाँ ली गई। फिर हमने फिर से उनसे नेगोशिएशन की और हमने बारहा कहा कि हम यहाँ पुरअमन एहतजाज रिकॉर्ड कराने आए हैं। 27 दिनों से पिछले ये तहरीक जारी है। इस तहरीक में बलूचिस्तान की हर तहसील, हर डिस्ट्रिक्ट से हज़ारों की तादाद में लोग शामिल हुए हैं। इस तहरीक को पूरे बलूचिस्तान की हिमायत है और अब पूरे पाकिस्तान की हिमायत है। आप इस तहरीक को इस तरह कुचल नहीं सकते हैं। तो सबसे पहले तो वहाँ हमें रोका, वहाँ से हमें जाने दिया गया और यहाँ जब हम पहुँचे तो हमारे रास्ते बंद कर दिए गए और पुलिस की एक भारी नफरी लाई गई और एक ऐसा सीन क्रिएट किया गया जिससे जो है ना ये जो सारे शुरका हैं और पुलिस है इन दोनों के दरमियान जो है ना वायलेंस की एक सीन क्रिएट की जाए। लेकिन हमने बारहा कहा है कि ये तहरीक बलोच नस्ल खुशी के ख़िलाफ़ जारी है और इसमें हमने पुरअमन तरीके से इस तहरीक को आगे लेकर जाना है।
Dr. Maharang Baloch, one of the key activists leading this movement, especially the women who have been at the forefront talking about the human rights violation and the perpetual abuse that the community has faced in the country of Pakistan. Anand, not for the first time that the Baloch have come forward and protested, but the manner in which the authorities really treated them in Pakistan, I believe that's also not without precedent.
Yes, it is not without precedent, and nearly 5,000 plus Baloch are still claimed missing. Women, children have been abducted, they have been killed on foreign soil, and the atrocities committed on Baloch has somehow fallen on the blind side of the UN Security Council and also the UN chair, who is crying buckets for what is happening with the Palestinians in Gaza, but has never even bothered to even come and talk to the Baloch people who continue to protest year after year.
Yeah.
Since 1947, there has been treachery committed with the Baloch. Their independence has been snatched by the Pakistanis, and to a level to which the kind of atrocities is that firing from atop helicopters has been done on Baloch in the past.
Right.
In this case, from the 6th, from Turbat, 6th of December onwards, from Turbat, the Baloch have been marching on to Islamabad.
Yeah.
Their sit-ins and their protests have been peaceful, but the numbers that have gathered in their support is something that has alarmed the authorities in Islamabad. In this case, women and children, part of the protests, have been shelled at, they've been beaten, tried just to break up the crowds, the excessive use of force has happened.
Yeah.
All these are brazen violations of human rights which have happened, and also the brazen violation of the Baloch people's rights. The Baloch don't identify themselves with Pakistan, but they have continued to endure not just Pakistani army authorities, atrocities, but also with that huge amount of Chinese PLA presence in Balochistan, which again they have raised objections to. That is why those who have been, certain groups of the Baloch factions which have been more violent in their freedom movement have been deemed as terrorist organizations.
Yeah.
But this is a peaceful sit-in by Baloch people in what Pakistan deems as part of Pakistan. And if they have not been allowed to do it, then why is nobody taking cognizance of what is happening in this in Islamabad, right under the very nose of those people who seem to be watching all sorts of human rights violations across the world, but are somehow blindsided by this, and it always falls on their blind spot. You know, just in the neighborhood, there are many concerns that are raised for things which are not there, but these are videos and evidences which are there for everybody to see. We'd like to see what the UN chief has to say about this. Mr. Gutierrez, is he watching? That's the question that we can ask.
Absolutely, and cultural diversity, perhaps a lesson or two can be learned from India as well. Anand Narasimhan getting us all the details on that very important story. Let's also cut across to some breaking bit of news coming in at this point. This is coming in from Punch, and a terrorist has fired upon the vehicle of the Indian Army in Buflia's area of Punch. One terrorist has also been injured in this. This is the bit of breaking news that we are getting right now. In the Punch area, multiple instances of this nature has been reported, and the terrorists fired upon the vehicle of the Indian Army in the Buflia's area of Punch. One terrorist has been injured. Tejinder Singh Sodhi with us on the broadcast. Tejinder, please tell us more.
Yes, Anusha, the army had the intelligence input that some foreign terrorists, they were in the Bafliaz area, which is in the DKG area of Punch. After that, a cordon and search operation was launched. This was a massive anti-terror operation that was launched by the security forces. But as the security forces were zeroing in to the location where the terrorists were hiding, the hiding terrorists fired at one of the army vehicles, in which some army personnel have been injured. Though the army is yet to give a statement on this, but we have come to know that there has been some casualties in the army because of this ambush by the terrorists when they were trying to zero in. But the army is saying that this was an encounter when they got the hard intelligence about the presence of terrorists, and this operation was launched. Right now, the operation is still underway. We are told that one terrorist has also been injured in this operation, but the operation is still going on. Additional forces of the army, the paramilitary forces, and the SOG of the Jammu and Kashmir police has been rushed to the spot, and the entire area has been cordoned off. Yes.
Okay. Tejinder Singh Sodhi getting us all the details and breaking inputs on this development. Akash is also with us on the broadcast. Akash, the official word coming in from the defence establishment. Akash, am I audible to you? Can you hear me? Alright, let me cut across to Tejinder once again. He continues to be with us on the show. He's been getting us all the breaking developments which are coming in on the story. Tejinder, as far as the area of Punch is concerned, multiple attacks even earlier have been witnessed here. Tell us about what kind of, advantage the terrorists have taken when it comes to the particular geography or a dense or a thick forest cover that exists here. The last few instances, if we can recall for our viewers.
Anusha, this year has been a very bad year for the army. We have faced several casualties in the Punch Rajouri belt. If you remember, we lost 10 of our brave hearts from the elite para-commando forces in different encounters in the area. Today also, we are told that this was the forest area where these terrorists were hiding, and so far the sources are saying that they believe that this could be a group of foreign terrorists who were present in the area, and after the security forces when they were zeroing in the location, getting the inputs about the presence of this group of terrorists, the terrorists started firing towards the security forces. The fire right now, as we speak, is being retaliated. This place is a few kilometers away from the line of control, so the possibility that this group of terrorists had recently infiltrated into the Indian side cannot be ruled out, but this could be stated only once the army gives out an official statement. But so far the army says that the encounter in the area is still going on, so they cannot divulge the details of the operation. But as far as this operation is going on, we are told that additional forces from the army, the Jammu and Kashmir police has been rushed to the spot. So army will soon be releasing a statement on the entire encounter, which still rages on in this forest area. Yes.
All right. Thank you, Tejinder, for putting all of that into perspective, getting us those insights. Let me quickly try if I have my colleague Akash with us on the broadcast. Akash, if you can hear me, any other details that you're picking up? All right, we'll continue tracking this story. We'll continue getting you more voices. This is an attack on an army vehicle that has happened. We'll continue getting you more details as far as this particular story is concerned. But right now, shifting our focus to the state of Tamil Nadu. The Madras High Court has handed down a sentence of 3 years when it comes to the Tamil Nadu Education Minister, the former Minister, K. Ponmudy. Now, in this particular matter, this was an issue of disproportionate assets. This was a matter that was going on for a long time. The trial court had in fact given a relief to the minister concerned, but the High Court took cognizance of the matter and about 6 to 8 months ago listed this matter, heard it at length and decided that the minister is in fact guilty. After that, as expected, he's been disqualified because he's convicted for more than 3 years. There is also an appeal which is likely to go to the Supreme Court of India on this entire matter. We'll listen into some reactions on the story. Sir, how do you see this verdict?
We see this verdict is legally not sustainable. On a doubt that income tax returns could have been filed in time and not filed by Mrs. Ponmudy, that's only on that basis of doubt this conviction has been recorded. We find that this is not sufficient to convict a person and sufficient to reverse an order of acquittal. We are hopeful that we will get justice in the Supreme Court.
Sir, so does this order officially mean automatically he is disqualified because...
Yes. Automatically he is disqualified.
And what plans now? Legally moving the Supreme Court, because there's also Christmas holidays next week. So when likely are we planning to move the Supreme Court?
On 2nd of January, Supreme Court reopens. The High Court was magnanimous in granting 30 days time for us to move the Supreme Court. We will move the Supreme Court on 2nd of January and will get this bail regularized. Then we will take other steps to restore his reputation.
So opposition parties are welcoming the verdict, saying that this is the first step. There are many such ministers in the list.
That's what I'm saying. All these prosecutions, if you see, the prosecutions against DMK ministers are baseless, and the courts are discharging them, the courts are acquitting them. Today the acquittal was reversed on the basis of doubt, not on the basis of proof.
We welcome this judgment, BJP welcomes this judgment, and it is a lesson for those who loot the public. And Mr. Ponmudy should have gone home, should have gone to the jail before 3 days itself, but he continued to be a minister, which is shameful. And we strongly condemn the DMK, which has been looting the public, and this is the lesson what they get, and this is called the Dravida model. Now, with this judgment, we need to understand that not only the person who is looting, their family members are also being punished. His wife, Mr. Ponmudy's wife, is also given the same sentence.
This is a big day. The judgment marks the end of Ponmudy, but not only Ponmudy, this marks the end of DMK. Along with Ponmudy, 12 more ministers are facing criminal charges, and they all soon will be shown the doors. And this is a big day in judiciary. People who have restored faith in judiciary, it has come through. This marks the end of DMK in Tamil Nadu politics. A probe had to be done right. Not only the 13 ministers of DMK, even MK shall go behind bars.
We'll continue tracking this story and much more here on CNN News 18 on the other side of a quick break. Stay tuned, stay with us.
Brought to you by
right, let's cut across to some breaking news coming in, and this is about Imran Khan, the former Pakistani Prime Minister. He's out of the race of elections. The Islamabad High Court has dismissed Imran Khan's petition to stay the judgment in the Tosha Khana case. The lower court had previously disqualified Khan from contesting elections for 5 years, and more importantly, the Election Commission of Pakistan had already taken a similar view on this entire matter. I'll try and cut across to my colleague Anand Narasimhan and get more details on this entire story. Anand, in the midst of hectic political bargaining which is happening in Pakistan, a very important decision that has come in. What are the ramifications of it?
Well, the shift is very clear. The decks are cleared for Nawaz Sharif to come back and for the PTI to have a biggest setback. The fact that Imran Khan does not get relief from the very High Court that actually gave him a lot of relief in the past, it itself underlines the fact that there was some ajibaji which happened in the Tosha Khana case. The other thing is how the equations are. Now there is a clear realignment which is happening within Pakistan. A resetting of the system is happening. Gawhar Khan will now fight the internal elections or the intra-party elections within the PTI, and Imran Khan has designated him on his behalf. But does that then take away the entire sheen and the pull away from the PTI? That's the big question. Is PTI of any relevance without Imran Khan? Because he was the fulcrum for the PTI and the entire movement. That's the big part. And a lot of water has flown under the bridge. People are also waking up to some of the things that Pakistan is reeling under today is a consequence of Imran Khan's immaturity and his own actions over the last 3 or 4 years that he has been there in power and he has been at the helm. So when the resetting of equations is happening, the deep state is shifting, there is a overall sentiment that is happening. The courts are only also reflecting the very same sentiment. So Imran Khan for now is benched, and PTI's chances in this election now, where it was a wave about 6 months ago, is now on the wane, and it's not a wave. So the fight will be with some of the other parties which are part of this cobbled up coalition that's currently in power, and you would see the PPP and the PMLN, which will be perhaps largely fighting for cornering the place, and PTI somewhere will have to resign itself to be able to sit in the opposition with some kind of numbers or decent turnout. But somewhere it seems that the decks are cleared for the return of Nawaz Sharif.
From being this poster boy for the army establishment to almost a complete decimation of his political career, it has been quite a topsy-turvy journey for Imran Khan. And the fact that now he's almost out of the picture, keeping in mind that the Election Commission has given a view, the High Court has given a view. What about that public sentiment that you spoke of, which was in favor of Imran Khan? Does it have any kind of relevance in Pakistan's polity?
Well, public sentiment swings like a pendulum in Pakistan, because it was the very public sentiment which wanted Imran Khan out before the entire issue of him being unceremoniously booted out politically happened. Till then the public sentiment was that the Prime Minister of the country is deciding the price of roti naan and what kind of a state that you have reduced us to. He made a mockery of Pakistan, and he was panned for the way he stood there and tried to lampoon America and blame them, and openly accepted that Pakistan trained jihadis on the behest of the CIA. So a lot of mistakes that he made, but after this entire frenzy that he was able to evoke when he tried to push and fan the fundamentalist aspects, some revelations of the TTP trying to back him tacitly, other revelations of what his involvement in Tosha Khana has been, the involvement of his wife, the Bushra Bibi, and her sons, and the kind of riches that they have amassed, and more importantly the kind of political positioning that he took when his own close aides turned approver in the kind of revelations that he made and his violation of the Official Secrets Act. Sentiments are also on the wane. People also realize that we are nowhere the better. We are only being plummeted far more to the abyss, and they need a certain level of stability. The IMF stepping in not because of Imran Khan, but because of the assurances that have been given by Shahbaz Sharif. And it's only his overt leaning towards China and opening up the doors of Pakistan for China has only left the Pakistani coffers far drier than what they were before. So these are all revelations which are coming in within Pakistan, although there seem to be still supporters of the PTI and more importantly Imran Khan. But Imran Khan out of the picture, these supporters will also then swing away from him till the time he makes a comeback, which looks highly unlikely given the fact that he can't even contest polls over the next 5 years.
All right, Anand, thank you so much for putting that into perspective. That's the word coming in. More importantly, it looks like that it's curtained down for Imran Khan and his political career. It started on a high note and it's ending, perhaps in a similar fashion as well. Let's also cut across. My colleague Anshul is getting us a ground report. A massive fire that broke out here in the national capital. The fire tenders were rushed on the spot. How the rescue and relief was carried out, please have a look.
Hello Moto.
Motorola, India's best 5G smartphone brand.
At approximately 1 p.m. in the afternoon, a fire broke out here at the Gopal Das building. It is being said that there are several high-profile offices out here in this Gopal Das building. But if you could just show you in the visuals, the good news being that the fire has now been doused off and the fire is now under control. Remember, more than 15 fire tenders were actually deployed on this spot. These fire tenders reached here immediately, making sure initially the people who were working inside the offices, inside the building, inside this building, they are taken out with safety. And once these people were taken out safely, then the fire personnel actually started with their operations and made sure that this fire is doused off at the earliest. At this point in time, the information that we are picking up is that no person has been injured in this entire incident that has happened. On the other hand, what sources have confirmed to us is that the fire was in the 11th floor of the building. What was the reason of this fire? That is something that remains to be seen at this point in time.
Well, 22nd January 2024 will be a big day in Ayodhya. It will be a big day for the entire country. The inauguration and the pujan at the Ram temple will happen. Siddhant Mishra getting you a report about the preparations.
हम इस वक्त रामपथ पर मौजूद हैं और रामपथ भक्तों को सीधा रामलला के दरबार तक लेकर जाएगा। मेरे साथ यहाँ पर साधु समाज के वरिष्ठ मौजूद हैं। अलग अलग आश्रम से आए हुए जाने माने जो साधु संत हैं वो इस वक्त यहाँ मौजूद हैं और आज हम साधु संतों से धर्म से ज़्यादा अयोध्या के विकास की बात करेंगे। और आज यही वजह है कि हमने इनको रामपथ पे बुलाया है। रामपथ को किस तरह विकसित किया जा रहा है, रामपथ पे क्या बदलाव आ रहे हैं, कैसे प्रयास हो रहा है कि रामपथ को एक ही रंग में पिरोया जा सके, एक रंग दिया जा सके, एक नई डिजाइन, एक अलग लुक दिया जा सके। समझना आपसे चाहेंगे कि जो सबसे बड़ी चुनौती इस वक्त अयोध्या के सामने है वो ये है कि एक तरफ आधुनिकीकरण हो रहा है, दूसरी तरफ जो अयोध्या की आत्मा है, जो अयोध्या शहर है, उसको भी बचाना है। कैसे देखते हैं आप, कैसे सरकार ये बैलेंस जो है इसको स्ट्राइक कर रही है?
सर्वप्रथम तो आपको बहुत बहुत साधुवाद और देश के माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी श्री नरेंद्र भाई मोदी जी और प्रदेश के मुख्यमंत्री आदरणीय योगी श्री आदित्यनाथ जी महाराज का ये स्तुत्य प्रयास है कि लखनऊ लक्ष्मणपुरी से जो हाईवे निकल रहा है उससे नया घाट लता मंगेशकर चौक तक इसको जोड़ा गया है, जिसका दोहरीकरण हुआ है। जो मार्ग सकरा था उसको चौड़ा करके और 4 लेन बना दिया गया है। इस मार्ग से जुड़े हुए कई रास्ते हैं। ये हम लोग यहाँ रामपथ पर खड़े हैं, इसी से लगा हुआ भक्ति पथ है, आरजेवी पथ है, जो हनुमान जी की प्रधानतम पीठ है उससे लेकर के राम जन्मभूमि तक जाता है और जो भक्ति पथ है वो इसी पथ से रामपथ से जुड़ करके और भगवान श्री रामलला के चौखट तक पहुंचा रहा है। ऐसे में यहाँ की पौराणिक और सांस्कृतिक जो विरासत है उसको भी सहेजने का कार्य माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी ने किया है और उसको उसी प्राचीन विधा में पिरो करके विकसित करके इनको डिजाइन करके और एक कलर में जो सामने का फ्रंट का हिस्सा आएगा वो एक कलर में दिखेगा।
अंतर्राष्ट्रीय एयरपोर्ट भी आ रहा है, नया रेलवे स्टेशन भी बन रहा है, कनेक्टिविटी और ज़्यादा हो जाएगी अयोध्या की। ऐसे में अयोध्या के विकास को कैसे देखते हैं और कब तक ये जो विकास कार्य है ये पूरा हो पाएगा?
देखिए, गोस्वामी जी ने लिखा है कि बरनत छवि जहाँ तहाँ सब लोगू अवश्य देखिए देखन जोगी, मंगलम कौशलेंद्राय महनीय गुणाब्धये चक्रवर्ती तनुजाय सार्वभौमाय मंगलम। यहाँ जो त्रेता युग में राम जी आए थे और जो हर्षोल्लास था, जो सौंदर्यीकरण था, तो आते आते जब ये कलयुग आ गया तो जेनोसाइड हो गया था। परंतु आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी और आदरणीय मुख्यमंत्री जी के जो योगदान से, जो सहयोग से, जो हिंदुत्व में, जो सनातन धर्म में जो विकास हो रहा है, ये पूरे ये समझिए कि अलौकिक है। अवर्णित है, जिसको वर्णन नहीं किया जा सकता। रात दिन काम हो रहा है और यह बहुत जल्द से जल्द, ऐसा मुझे लगता है कि राम जी जब तक विराजमान होंगे उससे पहले तो ये पूरी अयोध्या सज चुकी रहेगी।
हर जगह जेसीबी मशीन दिख रही है, बुलडोजर दिख रहे हैं, अर्थ मूविंग मशीन्स दिख रही हैं, ड्रिलिंग चालू है। तो ये युद्ध स्तर पे कार्य चल रहा है। क्या लग रहा है कि इनॉग्रेशन से पहले एक जो फर्स्ट फेज का कार्य है वो संपन्न होगा?
देखिए, निर्माण के पहले ध्वंस होता है। हाँ। बिना ध्वंस के निर्माण संभव नहीं है।
अच्छा।
तो निश्चित रूप से मुझे लगता है कि प्रधानमंत्री जी के आने के पहले और रामलला के मंदिर में विराजमान होने के पहले ये सारे कार्य पूर्ण हो जाएंगे, क्योंकि जो वर्तमान सरकार है वो इतनी तत्पर है। और आप देखिए कि महीने में 4 बार मुख्यमंत्री जी अयोध्या आते हैं और यहीं पर कैबिनेट बैठाते हैं। और इससे ये लगता है कि उनके हृदय में जो दृढ़ इच्छा शक्ति है अयोध्या को वैश्विक पहचान दिलाने की, अयोध्या की आध्यात्मिक पहचान को बढ़ाने के लिए, अयोध्या के संपूर्ण विकास के लिए, उसको टूरिज्म और टूरिस्ट से जोड़ना, पर्यटन स्थल के रूप में विकसित करना, और एक उसका जो मौलिक स्वरूप है जिसको पहले की सरकारों ने शायद स्वरूप और अनुरूप नहीं समझा कि इसको विश्व में व्याप्त किया जाए और ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोगों को कनेक्ट किया जाए, कि अयोध्या में आकर के यहाँ की मर्यादा, यहाँ की परंपरा, यहाँ की संस्कृति, यहाँ की जन आस्था को लोग समझें।
$350 crore cash gets recovered by IT department. Dheeraj Sahu yet to explain all of that cash, and suddenly in less than a week's time the Congress launches a crowdfunding campaign.
You have to ask a question, that is this all being done to paint the BJP in a certain light? That it is an undemocratic party. You first provoke, then when you are ejected you claim, well look, democracy is being smothered, you stand outside, you do all that tamasha outside.
Please don't misquote the judgment. It very clearly also said that the structure which used to exist there was purely un-Islamic. They also said that the tenets of Islam had been violated itself because Islami इजाजत नहीं देता that in the previous place of worship के ऊपर आपके place of worship हो.
You cannot be seen as mocking such an individual in public high office outside the halls of parliament just because a bunch of opposition MPs have been suspended.
Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. Amidst a massive standoff currently between the government and opposition in Parliament and a suspension spree that is still ongoing, the Lok Sabha today passed the CEC and EC Bill 2023. This bill seeks to regulate the appointment, the conditions of service and term of office of the Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners. Now, this bill was earlier passed in the Rajya Sabha on December 12th. Opposition has